Hello everybody. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If my camera seems crooked, that's because the stand that I have it on, my camera keeps wanting to fall when I have it straight up how it should be, so it has to be at an angle, which is really frustrating, but I unfortunately can't get it totally figured out. I feel a little off today because I got this treatment done to my hair where it straightens it and relaxes it, and I really love having it done. The only thing is that the way it's straightened isn't the way I would do it, but it's the way it has to be done because of the way you do the treatment and whatnot. And I got all these flyaways and stuff that are just insanely annoying to have to deal with. And also I can't wash my hair until Saturday. So I go from Wednesday to Saturday without washing my hair, and I am an everyday hair wash girly. I know some girls don't like doing that. Some girls and guys, I think, don't do that. But my scalp gets itchy if I don't. And already it's really agitated. So this is kind of a bit of a struggle, but whatever, we persevere. You know what I mean? I am using my Burt's Bees Chai Tea Lip Balm. I am kind of drinking water. I just finished up with my coffee, so I gotta switch to water. But all that being said, I think we'll jump right into today's video. So today we are going to be talking about Camila. Now, she is a lifestyle influencer. She posts a lot of really cool videos that go from PR unboxing to hauls to decorating to styling her clothes, all sorts of different stuff. I really like her content.
My overalls. I love these overalls. I always get so many questions on them.
Get ready with me to become a godmother. I'm running late, so this is gonna be a very quick get ready with me. I already have an idea of what I want to wear. I just got back from Target. Blogilates for Target just launched, and already half of the items are sold out, so I wanted to get this up sooner rather than later and not wait to do a try-on haul. But I'm gonna show you everything that I got.
Now, what we're gonna be talking about today though with her is she was invited on a brand trip for this brand that's called Luxada. It's an eyewear brand out of Italy, I guess, and it's a pretty big brand. I've never heard of them, but that doesn't really mean anything. I don't have to wear glasses, so that's probably why. But it's a pretty big brand, I guess, and she got invited on the brand trip, and it was gonna go over Valentine's Day. So her and one of her friends got invited, and then her friend got uninvited because she didn't have enough followers. So that was weird. And then Camila was like, oh yeah, I would love to bring my boyfriend with, which the brand was like, that's fine, you just have to pay for them. They can come with you. They just aren't gonna get covered, you know? So her and her boyfriend are trying to figure out the details. It gets switched back and forth a lot. It's very confusing, the timeline of the trip, and then in the end, she ends up getting uninvited.
This all started when I got an email from my management stating that I had been invited on an all expenses paid trip to Milan for an event hosted by a luxury eyewear manufacturer that owns all of the top eyewear brands. They offered me the option to bring a +1, which I was so excited about, but they wouldn't be able to cover their flights. And the trip was going to be from February 10th through the 14th with the option to add the 15th, which is a little confusing. So for clarity's sake, let's just say the 10th through the 15th. The same day that I got the invitation, I saw that my friend had posted on her Instagram story that she had also been invited. So we started messaging about how excited we were. And a couple hours later, I kid you not, she messages me back saying that she was uninvited because it appears that once she confirmed her information, the brand realized that she had been an oversight and she just didn't have enough followers to go on the trip. Which is insane. Being told to your face that you were uninvited because you didn't have enough followers is so hurtful. I just thought for them to say that was crazy. So I immediately went back to my manager and I begged her to double confirm with the brand that I was actually invited, because I did not want to get through this entire process to just get my hopes up and then be uninvited, which obviously ended up happening anyway. And I'm sure you're thinking, okay, this is when you were uninvited. No. The brand came back and double confirmed. They doubled down that I was invited, that they wanted me there. Basically, after I asked my manager to confirm with the brand that I, in fact, had been invited, I was told that I was confirmed, that it was all set, that I just needed to send over my information and that we could book my flights. So after getting the green light, I obviously was trying to figure out my +1 situation. I really wanted to bring my boyfriend, but at this point, the trip was less than 2 weeks away, and he was scheduled to work 4 out of the 5 days that we were gonna be on our trip. And since it was in such a short amount of time, he couldn't input it in his work system that he wanted time off. So he was really nervous, but he went into work that night and just went up to his boss and begged. He was like, please, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I really want to go on this trip with my girlfriend. And much to our surprise, they did say yes, which means we were good. Or so I thought. Once I sent over all of my information to book my flight, that's where all of the miscommunication really began. For starters, I feel like normally when you book a trip, the dates on whether the email or things like that, the dates that you say out loud are the dates that the trip begins and ends. So the initial email said the 10th to the 15th. My assumption was that I was flying out of LA February 9th to arrive the 10th. And then I marked that I would be flying home on the 15th. So we would be leaving Italy on the 15th. And this seems like a really silly detail, but it's important. So remember that. At this point, I was already declining opportunities for that set week because I was going to be in Milan. And I received an email from the brand saying, the dates of the trip are February 11th through the 13th with the option to add the 14th. We're unable to accommodate an extra night of February 15th unless the guests would like to cover their hotel themselves. As a reminder, this was the first email that I got. So at this point, I'm really confused. Like, now you're cutting the trip shorter by 2 days? Fine, no problem. In the grand scheme of things, it could be a lot worse. So I told the brand that I was willing to pay that extra night for the hotel because it was Valentine's Day. And my boyfriend and I really wanted to have a romantic dinner in Italy on Valentine's Day. I mean, how often can you say that? So then I get an email saying, amazing. So to confirm, it will be the 11th through the 15th, parentheses, you paying for an additional night of the 15th. And I'm like, no, we're leaving the 15th. Like I said that in my initial email, I just want to have the night of the 14th covered. Are they covering the night of the 14th? And I get a message saying, yes, ma'am. So they are covering the night of the 14th. Oh my God. Go to part 3. Anyway, now we're back to the trip being from the 11th to the 15th. But when I start to receive flight options, they say that I would be leaving LA the 9th, arriving to Italy the 10th, which goes against everything that we had just said. The event started the 11th, and at this point, my brain was mush. I was at a work event, I was trying to send voice memos, and this is when I finally hop on a call with my management, and we get everything sorted, and flights are booked. I have my boarding pass, I know what time I'm leaving, what time I'm arriving. Essentially, everything is confirmed. Everything is done. I was going to be put in business class on British Airways, which is like their first class, like lie down seats, fancy everything. I was so excited. I probably will never be able to sit business class again because girl, those seats are $6,000 a ticket. Absolutely insane. So now that my flight was booked, it was time to buy my boyfriend's ticket. And again, we had to buy it separately because they weren't covering the +1 ticket. So we scoured the internet looking for cheap tickets. The flight that I was going to be on was super expensive, weirdly, even for economy. It was gonna be $1,300, so we didn't pick that one. But we were determined to make this trip happen no matter what. So we picked the cheapest flight, which was $677, and we weren't even gonna be able to fly together because they were different flights. Not to mention that on the way back, when we leave Italy, we were gonna be flying out from 2 different airports. You gotta do what you gotta do for Valentine's Day in Italy, you know what I mean? Once the flights were booked, we booked reservations at so many restaurants for lunch and dinner most nights that we were gonna be there. I bought so many clothes online because obviously I wanted cute Instagram pictures. And obviously this was a brand trip, so I had so much fun planning all of my content on Notion. I literally scheduled out like content I wanted to film pre-trip, content I wanted to film on my flight, content I wanted to film once we were in Italy. Like, I spent hours on this thing. Flash forward 2 days, I get a voice memo on a Saturday from my management saying there was a miscommunication again between the client and the brand, and they are not able to provide a hotel for the night of the 14th, which is just insane for obvious reasons. Okay, go to part 4. This is the last part. I swear we're finishing up the makeup. All of a sudden now they want me to pay for the last night because it ends up being that it's not covered, even though the initial email said that it was. But before my manager and I can even begin to process or figure out the situation, we get an email and it says, there seems to be an issue with an agenda shift, so please hold on booking or paying for anything else until we have further clarity. This email scared me. I started to wonder if the dates were just gonna be pushed back, if the trip was going to be shorter, if maybe the trip wasn't happening at all. The last thing that I think is going to happen is that they're just going to uninvite me, especially after the fact that in part 1, I said that I told my manager, like I asked her to please double confirm that I had been invited because I didn't want to get my hopes up for them to cancel last minute. And that's exactly what they did, because the next email read, due to budget concerns, they are assessing the creators being sent to Milan and might not be able to accommodate you at this time. And then a few hours later I get, unfortunately, they are officially unable to accommodate you for this event. So I had been uninvited. I was heartbroken. This was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we were literally 3 or 4 days from flying out. Like, my hopes were as high as they could possibly be. And all of the prep work that had gone into this trip, we told our families, we told our friends. It was so awkward to have to tell them all, like, never mind. Since getting uninvited, I've obviously started to receive all of the packages of the clothes and the accessories that I ordered. And to make matters even worse, the brand refused to pay us back for my boyfriend's ticket, which, in my opinion, is so wrong. Thankfully, my management stepped up and they're covering the cost of the flight, but this has just been so wild to me. But the trip is still taking place tomorrow, so I guess we'll get to see together who actually still got to go. And don't get me wrong, I am so unbelievably happy for everyone who is still going. I'm gonna be living vicariously through them. It took me a day of being upset to get over it, and now I'm just like, say la vie, it happens, you know, on to the next. There will be bigger and better things on the other side of this. You know, like, it's not that serious, but just kind of like a crazy story. Like, I cannot believe that it happened. So that's the story time.
So yeah, now the brand doesn't have a TikTok, so we haven't heard their side of it yet or what's going on their end exactly, but yeah, very suspicious. Brand trips already get a lot of hate just because of how it looks, like spending all this money on influencers that can afford to do these trips on their own, but they get it for free when there's like people that can't afford housing or like groceries. That's kind of the main argument with brand trips. So I don't know, it's kind of a messy situation, especially for Camila, and the fact that she got canceled on. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments down below. That is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye guys.